Yeehaw! It's time for the Texans Squad, sponsored by Gametime. Everything Houston Texans, every week. Bringing you the big hits, game-changing plays, and all the action straight from the Lone Star State. The way only the Locked On Podcast Network can. Saddle up and squad up. It's the Texans Squad Show, starting now.
The final week of a squad show where we don't have regular season football until, of course, we have a bye week. But we are here with you on a Friday evening live. We appreciate you, those of you that are going to stop by and say hello. The other ones that are going to watch later on, we appreciate you as well. Make sure you're hitting subscribe to this channel. I am Michael Connor. Luke, I actually need the other one, please. I am Michael Connor. That's Stan Norfleet. We're with you for an hour. I'm directing. I needed an iPad. This is the wrong. I have two iPads. It's the wrong iPad. Don't ask me why I have two iPads. But the Houston Texans going to next week, Stan, play football, real football against the Los Angeles Rams. We will get deep into that game next week. And of course, we'll transition back to a post-game show as soon as the game wraps up next week against the Rams. But a lot of things to get into tonight still I'm a little bit, I don't know about you real quick before we get into the meat of what I want to talk about first. Were you at all shocked that there hasn't been a lot of – we'll get into the roster moves, anything later, but there hasn't really been much change since the last time we talked. Does that surprise you at all?
Not so much. I think, once you have your initial 53, the natural evolution next is to have your injured reserve and non-football injury lists and who's going on PUP. So they did that. And then the natural order after that every team essentially abides by is filling out your practice squad. You can have up to 17 players given the international program that the NFL has made available, trying to continue to push the game globally. The Texans do have the international player that they have activated from a practice squad standpoint. So the Texans initially had 15 on their practice squad as of Wednesday. They filled out 2 more on Thursday, and here we are. So everything is set. How about this? The Texans did not win a claim on any player that had been waived, and nor did any player that the Texans cut land anywhere else.
So that's weird, man. And they were like, 25th in the order, but it didn't work out for them. Like I said, we'll talk about some of the practice squad stuff in just a bit. But want to get things going tonight because if you've been sleeping under a rock for the last few days and not paid attention, the football world is ablaze since yesterday at about 4 o'clock-ish?
Yeah, that's about right.
Up there, up I-45 in the city of Dallas.
Look, I'm here now.
Stan is. Are you in Jerry's home?
No. I'm not over there in beautiful Highland Park. I'm here in Uptown, right across from American Airlines Center, W Hotel. It's a birthday weekend thing, so I had to come and get plugged in. But a lot of conversation locally, down in H-Town, and across the country, given the value of the Cowboys brand and the affinity. But, go ahead.
The whole thing was a mess. We've had off-air discussions about it. I mean, the whole thing was a mess, how they've handled it. Yeah. And I bring this up because I think there is a great Texans angle to this that we can always go to. Now, we've talked before about how Nick Caserio and the Texans have actually, taken care of players and not been afraid to dish out the money. Now, we always knew that this was going to happen when they got to this point because they took 2 guys literally back-to-back in CJ and Will Anderson.
Yep, 2 and 3, yep.
Now, we'll go specifically to Will Anderson. Can the Texans learn from the Cowboys' mistake here of basically ticking off a guy that wanted to be there forever to the point where he publicly demanded a trade, saying all these things that they said about him publicly about the negotiations, and then eventually trading him at the age of 26? What can the Texans learn from this, Stan?
Well, I'll answer the question, then I'd like to backdoor into how Jerry arrived here. Nick Caserio understands, and I've probably been given, my brief stint in the scouting community and having worked for a number of NFL teams and worked for several other or a couple other flagships, I should say. I understand the inner workings of the National Football League humbly. And the agent community is a real thing. And people fans sometimes want to poo-poo what that actually means. And that's something that got Jerry in trouble here, trying to ignore a very familiar name to the Houston Texans, super agent David Morgetta, if you remember the Deshaun Watson scenario.
He might not have the greatest rep in the city of Houston with people in their memory of him.
Nonetheless, he's a fantastic agent. And as he has done with Deshaun Watson, he has absolutely maximized and raised the ceiling and floor for Micah Parsons and future edge defenders and pass rushers, i.e. Will Anderson Jr. Will made a lot of money yesterday without having to play football. And that's just the bottom line. And when you look at the recent contracts of what's going on with Myles Garrett in Cleveland, TJ Watt in Pittsburgh, that got a little contentious until they got a deal done. What's going on in Cincinnati, Trey Hendrickson kind of got a one-year Band-Aid, an additional $14 million added to his cash this year. He will likely hit free agency, Trey Hendrickson, next year, certainly older than Will. But, like, all Will has to do is go out and be the same Will we've seen over the last 2 years. Hopefully, minus, and he can negate the ankle problems, the ankle issues that he's been dealing with the last couple seasons. But outside of that, Will puts up double digits, and he's the same Will being disruptive, the same guy in the locker room each and every day. And the Texans are going to have an issue. Now, here's where Caserio has done himself a solid. He has built up a lot of favor in that locker room and with agents. You took care of Derek Stingley Jr.
Who's a Mulligetta a client, by the way?
Jalen Petrie had torn his pec and gave him a contract. Nico Collins has yet to play 17 games in a season or a full season. Still got his money. So when you start looking around at what's going on and the guys are taken care of, Joe Mixon was here for 5 minutes. He got a trade and a new contract, which was commensurate with his abilities, given that he is a top 10 running back in this league when healthy. I know we'll talk about Mixon a little bit more in a second. But you just go around. How long did they give Kenyon Green? How long did they give John Mechie a chance? Like, Nick Caserio has to be seen quite favorably in the agent community, and I think that will continue with C.J. Stroud, who I believe is also a David Morgetta client, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't think he might. I'll check on that.
I can't remember. Don't hold me to that, but I just remember something just right there on the front of my brain. But the bottom line is with Will Anderson, if he just plays Will Anderson football, he's going to command. Micah got 47. He's $7 million ahead of it. I think he's $6.5 million ahead of TJ Watt. The bottom line is Micah Parsons has just helped Will Anderson command $40 million a year average annual value and some
you're right.
$120 million plus. By the way. Mulligetta does represent C.J. Stroud.
Yeah.
I thought I remembered that. This is where it is. So I'm happy for Will. I wish him a very productive and healthy season. Rising tide, lift all boats, baby. But listen, and I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying, MC, and I'm being super long-winded. Yeah, Will has a different agent than CJ. I'm saying CJ's a Mulligetta guy.
Yeah, that's. I was thinking it was flipped for some reason. I don't know why. I don't remember who. I'll look up who Will has, but I mean, there's no denying it. And I think my next question from this, you mentioned all these guys that got all this money. Myles Garrett, of course. That's the funny part is that you see how this goes. I want to be traded. I want this. They're only doing that because they want their money. The Browns just said, "Okay, Myles Garrett, here's your money." The Cowboys said, "All right, we're just going to trade you and do that whole mess."
It's so much scuttlebutt behind the scenes with that, man. And Jerry allowed it to get personal. Micah, I think, misunderstood.
I feel like Jerry made it personal. From everything that I read, I don't know. I listened to it, and if it's true that he sat down Micah Parsons without the agent and trying to say, "Well, I had a deal with you," I think that's unfair. You know that a player needs to be negotiating with his agent if he has an agent that he's hired. That's crappy in my opinion.
Jared came flat out and said, first of all, he said he didn't know who David Morgetta was. David Morgetta is one of the most powerful agents in this game. Number two, Jerry said that he had a contract negotiation and a handshake agreement with Micah Parsons. Micah said that conversation was about a leadership, and then you tried to put a little something on it and turn it into a contract negotiation. And all Micah asked was, Jerry, we have the parameters of a deal. Just hammer out the details with my representation.
Yeah.
And Jerry couldn't allow himself to do it. And at the end of the day, things got a bit contentious. Micah didn't help things. And we saw James Harden do it. What Micah did by sleeping on that training table is the equivalent of James Harden in a fat suit. Players have to go to an extreme to prove to billionaires that I'm serious. And Jerry was offended, and Jerry was just willing to do a deal with anybody that would yield them, quite frankly, somebody else that could help them on defense and help them in run support. And what they got in Kenny Clark from Green Bay will allow them to do that. Jerry did not get enough value. So none of that is going to, I think, happen with the Will Anderson Jr. deal. I think what Jerry should have done, and we've seen this, Jerry should have gotten ahead of the Dak Prescott contracts, plural, and he didn't do it. And Jerry should have gotten ahead of the CeeDee Lamb number. You can just go down the board. Jerry should have gotten ahead of these things, and he hasn't done it. Nick Caserio's not going to make that mistake.
Yeah, and I think that all the guys that you brought up earlier is kind of in that boat, and I think it's where the Texans, I'm not saying that they're necessarily looking just at the Cowboys and going, let's learn from their mistakes. I mean, they all see what's going on across the league. They all know what's going on across the league, and maybe they do think, hey, we don't want to be in these kind of situations. But they did that with other players. Now, the next question for Will Anderson specifically, because he is such a freak, and he's been a great player so far in the league. Imagine if he takes an even bigger step where we might expect him to be this year, which is, what if he's an 18 sack guy this year?
I saw an article in NFL.com, MC, that says Will Anderson Jr. predicts that he will be Defensive Player of the Year.
If he does that, I mean, we're talking about right now, the market is set at 46.5 a year. How's he not getting 50 a year? And are you comfortable having a $50 million defensive end and then having a $65, $70 million a year quarterback? Are we getting to the point where are these defensive edge rushers worth the money that they're getting?
Well, it's the second most important position in pro football. You go quarterback, you go edge rusher, you go left tackle, and then you go cover corner. And so Daniil is getting a little long in the tooth, still playing fantastic football, but clearly the future pass rush for the Houston Texans wears number 51. If you listen to D'Amico for 5 minutes, he will tell you, really probably 5 seconds, he'll tell you that Will Anderson Jr. is the rock that they have built this program on, both he and CJ together. The way he practices, the way he handles his business, his affinity for football, and the ability to put some of the distractions. And Houston can be a distraction to a young player. Will and CJ have been able to navigate those by and large. Do I think Will Anderson Jr. will reset the market? I don't believe so. I think we need to understand what Micah Parsons is. Through the first 4 seasons of an NFL career, nobody has more sacks than Micah Parsons other than Hall of Famer, the late, great Reggie White. So, I mean, that's rarefied air. Can Will get in there and get a TJ Watt 40, 41, 42 million a year? Absolutely. Your question, MC, is valid. And I think quietly, this is what Nick Caserio is probably kept up late with at night. How am I going to make this work where I need to get CJ Stroud and Will Anderson Jr. taken care of? I've seen articles written, who do they pay first? Do they pay one and franchise the other? Up until yesterday, I would have said they would have franchised Will and pay CJ. But the dynamic with where this money is going, I don't know that they don't pay Will first and ask CJ, can you give us another year and play out that 4th year on your rookie deal? both of them being first rounders, their contracts are guaranteed. And then you start factoring in a new contract with the 5th-year option. So Caserio may have to get creative. I don't see a world where both number 7 and number 51 aren't Houston Texans moving forward.
Well, let's wrap up this conversation here in just a second with a little bit more on the ramifications of it. And I kind of disagree on you don't pay both. I'll tell you why. We'll do that here in just a second. Locked On Texans Squad Show. Right now, though, I want to tell you guys about Upside. Hey, are you still paying full price for gas? Stop leaving money behind. Get real cash every time you fill up with the free Upside app. Simply download the free Upside app in the App Store or Google Play right now and start earning cash at the pump today. Use my limited time promo code TOUCHDOWN and get an extra 25 cents back per gallon on your first fill up. You can make up to $300 a year just from buying the gas you already need. At first, I thought it was too good to be true, but I totally get it. It's legit. Real people are getting paid just to make their daily commutes, and you can too. Plus, you can cash out anytime to your bank account, PayPal, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Don't let this offer drive on by. The free Upside app now download the free Upside app now by using my limited time promo code TOUCHDOWN for a limited time 25% off gallon per bonus per gallon. That's promo code TOUCHDOWN. Offers vary by user and location. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions. It's Locked On Texans Squad Show. I might need to bring the rest of the squad back in. There's Stan. I'm Michael. John's off tonight. Wade Smith, of course, joins us during the games, after the games, I should say, which we'll be doing next weekend after the Texans take on the Los Angeles Rams at SoFi Stadium. I can't wait for them to beat the Rams. It's going to be great.
It's a week from Sunday.
A week from Sunday, man.
That's a 3 Cowboys at Eagles Thursday night.
That's going to be a little bit of drama involved.
Just
Two
a bit.
teams that hate each other, and now the Cowboys down Micah Parsons.
And then you get the Green Bay Packers with Micah Parsons coming to Jerry World in week 4.
Oh yeah, that will be interesting.
That'll be the most watched NFL game of the regular season.
I got to say, we are blessed here in the city of Houston right now. We don't have our teams trading away generational talents in their young 20s.
That Kyle Tucker fella over there in Chicago.
Have you seen how that's gone this year, though? He's falling off.
But what was he in the Astros uniform?
He was great. No, he was great. He helped him win a World Series. Look, I miss him. You can't get me to say I don't miss him. But sometimes you got to make the money. Sometimes you got to make that money decision. You were just real quick. You said a minute ago that you don't think they'd pay both. I think just from what we're talking about, you're saying how Nick Caserio goes out there and takes care of these. I think, or from the Jerry perspective, I should say, and the Cowboys perspective of they should have taken care of it earlier. I think this next offseason is exactly why you do it. You go and take care of it. Now you got to structure things out. And it does bring into question, how do you afford it all? The cap can always be manipulated. You know that. Like, these teams always find a way. You're going to end up paying for it way down the road. Like, it's going to bite you in the backside at some point, but if you stretch stuff out and whatever. But like, I think if you can get both of them sat down next year, my biggest question with both extensions, how long do those guys get? Because we've seen one thing from Caserio. He does not do long deals. I think 4 years is like the max he's handed anybody. I'd imagine your quarterback might want more than 4 years.
Well, let me say this, and I want to make sure that I somewhat educate the people, those that don't know, on how NFL contracts work. It's not necessarily the salary cap that can be the biggest prohibitor. It's the guaranteed portion of the contract. The owners have to go put that money. The Green Bay Packers just gave Micah Parsons $188 million guaranteed. In the next 2 weeks, the Green Bay Packers, and they don't have an owner, but the president, it's not Mark Murphy anymore. I don't think it's somebody else.
Gutekunst?
Brian Gutekunst is the GM.
Okay.
But whoever's handling the overall org.
Yeah, it just changed recently.
They got to go put $188 million in escrow. So when you think about the Cal and Hannah and Miss Janice, you just did Nico. You did Petrie. You did Stingley. Aziz is making real money. Like Joe Mixon's making real money. Now, that Mixon will likely come off the books when you talk about future years. What I'm saying is, like, Nico's going to want more money. So what you're trying to, like, how do I have enough liquid cash to go put all of these contracts and the guaranteed portion of these contracts in escrow? That's real cash. You got to go get out the bank. You got to go to the billionaire ATM and get hundreds of $1 million in guaranteed money out.
I didn't know about this until the COVID time when I heard a story about an owner that didn't have enough to cover an escrow at the time. Had to go take out a personal loan from a friend.
Hey, listen, before the Raiders moved to Las Vegas, Mark Davis used to fly Southwest. He could not afford his own private plane. It's very similar to what we see in the NBA with the Lakers.
Yeah.
Like, they're a mom and pop operation. The Lakers are, star-studded, of course, and you see the valuation of the franchise, but their actual operating income, like, they aren't killing it like the Knicks or the Celtics or somebody like that. So anyway, just bringing it back to a Houston dynamic, I don't believe today, given where the market is at quarterback, if Mahomes goes to another AFC Championship game this year or another Super Bowl, that team-friendly deal they gave him, that $500 million, it's time to redo that.
Didn't he already re-up it already?
Did he restructure it or he re-upped?
I think they did something to it.
I think they restructured it to alleviate some cap concerns. But my point is, Mahomes is going to go back to the market. There's rumors out of Baltimore that Lamar Jackson, 1 year into a new deal, is ready to renegotiate.
Oh, yeah.
Given where the state of things are and having won 2 MVPs in the last 3 seasons coming into this year. So my point is,
Mahomes average only averages $28 million a year right now.
Mahomes has got to be going crazy. Like, wait a minute, wait. So whatever that means for CJ and his representation, again, David Morgetta, I don't know that they can afford to pay Will and CJ at the end of this year. How creative can they be in making it palatable and worthwhile for both guys? And you talked about the length of the deal. I think both Will and Daniil will get minimum 5-year deals. It may be, because they're still on rookie deals, 4-year extensions, and then you add the 5th-year option as the 5th year of a new contract.
Yeah, I think that's where I'd go to. I'd go to that 5-year. I think the Josh Allen deal for CJ, he just signed a 5-year deal, didn't he?
And it's a monster deal.
Yeah. He's averaging 36.3 a year, which makes him 10th in terms of
average. But I think the guaranteed money on that Josh deal, the guaranteed money on that deal is like $200 million. I think it's more than D. Watt. The guaranteed money.
Total guaranteed $250.
Yeah, so it's more than D. Watt.
It was 6 for $330. Guaranteed $250, and the way that they structured it out with the void years, they got the average down to 30-something a year. But the average salary is technically $55 million a year.
I'm looking at Brandon Hallam. I hope it might be Hallam. Forgive me for mispronouncing Brandon, but he brings up a good point. You also, you got to factor in, what if Schultz has another good year? Are we ready to move on from Schultz?
Yeah.
Titus Howard's guaranteed money is expiring here pretty soon. So, like, the Texans are in a dynamic. Man? Caserio has got his work cut in front, but that's a good problem to have. It's a roster robust with talent, and then you just have to make the numbers work. And the McNairs know they're getting ready to have to put a lot of cash, a lot of operating cash up in escrow.
Yeah, and the other one too, I think you might have mentioned him earlier, but look, the guy that they've already paid, Nico Collins, he's making 24.5 per year on average. Well, the wide receiver market's now, 40. We've got a guy at 40 in the wide receiver market. I'm not saying that he's a $40 million a year player, but like, he's only got a couple of years left on that deal. I'd imagine he goes out and let's just say he puts up a 1,700-yard season, puts up a.
If Nico goes back to the Pro Bowl, he's gonna want more money.
Yeah.
Now, what
I do wonder where you go at that point.
Yeah. So, like, that's the interesting dynamic. So then it's like, okay, Nico, we just gave you money, but here's Will and CJ wanting their money. Then what do you do with the running back room if you move on from Mixon? Is Woody Marks ready to go? Is Dameon Pierce back to rookie Dameon Pierce? What do you do with Titus Howard? What if Blake Fisher is not ready to go at right tackle? Okay, like this thing starts to get real bleeping interesting. And Christian Harris is gonna want money. We know how they feel about Christian Harris. What if
good
he
luck
steps
wanting
in
money.
and
You can't give money to a guy that doesn't play. I mean, that'd be silly in my opinion.
I'm saying if Christian Harris plays the majority of this season at a level that's commensurate to what we believe him to be and what he's shown us when healthy under DeMeco Ryans, there's a real check you're going to have to cut to Christian Harris if they believe in him.
Yeah.
So I don't know. And trust me, these are the conversations that are privately happening behind the scenes. Any quality general manager worth his salt, you got to be preparing for the worst case scenarios, and you got to be thinking about priority order. What favors do I have to do for that agent? How do I make this guy happy? How do I have to, this player has got circumstances, whether it be family circumstances or financial circumstances. It's a lot of dynamics that go into who gets money, when, where, how, and why. What we've just been proven in the Deshaun Watson and in the Michael Parsons scenario, don't play with that dude wearing the 7 jersey because his representation is for real. They want their money.
Yeah, no, they know that with Derek Stingley as well. And then one other thing I did want to mention too is that you can sit here and you can do all this. You could also become the Cowboys and get stuck and be basically. I'm not going to. They were bad last year, but they were good for the McCarthy years before that. But I would call what they are in as mediocrity. They win a lot of regular season games, and then they get bounced early in the playoffs. And then they never made hard decisions. They just kept bringing the same people back all the time, and then you don't do anything else. And I think that's what's going to be interesting to see is that can this Texans team, because I know that we all have our concerns about them this year, can they take the leap to where it makes you want to pay even more guys and keep even more guys? Because what if you get to a point where some of these, you don't take the next leap forward? I think that's where teams get in trouble. And they try and keep everybody to do what? To keep doing the same thing? At some point, you got to reset a little bit. Am I wrong for thinking that way?
Well, you're not wrong. I'm just going to add an element to what you had to say. How did the Cowboys get here? By they pay good players great money. They also pay players late. Jerry falls in love with certain guys, and he considered Micah one of his guys. Jerry said it at the press conference yesterday. 3 players on the roster have his phone number. We know Dak's one of them. Yep. Micah is another one of them. But, you can't get caught up where you can't. They were in a situation where you can't be paying 40% of your salary cap between CD, Dak, and Micah Parsons. They got caught in a situation where we have excellent players in Micah and CD, and we got a guy that's pretty good in Dak. They're just paying him great money. So what Caserio has to do, if we're going to flip and look at it from the team dynamic, GMs must put a proper valuation on specific players while you continue to go draft very well, affordable, cheap talent. So they need to continue to see Lassiter, and they need Bullock, and they need Ursary, and then you need Henry T to still be a guy. And you got to continue to get those rookies, Woody Marks. You need Woody Marks to go play like a big boy so that you don't have to allocate Joe Mixon type money to the position for whoever else it might be. Being a GM is not hard. It's not easy. It's a very hard and daunting task. And you got to be thinking 2-3 years ahead while trying to vie for a title. And I'll end by saying this. I know I've been linked on this one per usual, MC. Belichick used to have a saying. It's better move on from a player a year or two too early than a year or two too late. Caserio understands that. Now, he hadn't done that. He held on to Metch and Kenyon Green as long as he could. I will be curious to see if they start this priority ranking of who gets paid and who doesn't. Do they wave goodbye to a Titus Howard at the expense of keeping Will, CJ, Nico, all those other things.
Yeah.
So it's one of those quiet underbelly stories that they don't want you to talk about because they've been kind of sensitive over there at NRG. I think we'll talk about that soon.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that because somebody got a little bit hot and bothered the other day. And, well, we're going to hear some of that here in just a moment. That's next on the Locked On Texans Squad Show. Before we get there, though, I want to tell you guys about PrizePicks. That's right. This episode is brought to you by PrizePicks, the daily fantasy platform that lets you turn your football predictions into real rewards. Preseason is, well, it's over now. Regular season's coming. College football, it's right here. It's starting this weekend. Whether you've got your eye on a big-name quarterback or breakout running backs, PrizePicks makes it easy to get in on the game. This weekend, PrizePicks is offering some major discounts. Yes, that is very cool. Max discount. Look at that. I'm looking at the Dak Prescott max discount. They play Thursday against the Eagles. Half a passing yard. Hey, I like that. Why not get in on that at PrizePicks? Download the PrizePicks app today and use code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, run your game. Now, we are not sensitive on the Locked On Texans Squad Show.
Not at all.
Means. Stan, you did mention that right before we went to our break there, that yes, I feel it. I feel like, and it happens, there's an arc for every franchise. You know this. They go from bad to getting good, and they're the hot new girl again, to where everybody likes them in the city, and everything's great, and then they get good, and then they get a little bit sensitive, and then they get a little closed off is the next jump of this. We've seen this with the Astros in the city of Houston. I think the Texans are getting to the sensitive area. It's year 3. The honeymoon phase is worn off a little bit. And DeMeco. I'm talking DeMeco Ryans got a little hot and bothered this week, being asked about Joe Mixon. The situation has, been a mystery to a lot of us because they've not really completely answered the question. They've not really answered a lot of questions when it comes to health of players. But we'll let you hear a little bit of it, and then we're going to talk about it. Some of what DeMeco said about the Joe Mixon situation when he was asked about it the other day.
Possible, but I think with the Joe situation, it's been kind of vague a lot. And I know you're trying to protect Joe and things like that. You like to protect players. There is a flip side to where now more speculation can fester. We're kind of like the pros and cons to that because, again, like speculation festering could then lead to inaccurate thoughts and inaccurate speculation, which could and then hurt the player and hurt how he's perceived and things of that nature. So we're just kind of like that balance between being transparent, but then also not being transparent, fully transparent to where it's speculation and things of that nature.
Yeah, everything we do for when it comes to injuries, and I don't, talk about the injury.
Well, our lovely thing called the internet just decides it's not working. I don't get it. Sorry for that. That's a technical thing. You heard the question that was asked. He went on.
Yeah, I think that's DJ Bieniemy of ESPN.com on the Texans beat.
Yeah, so he went on to basically talk about, everybody living in a culture where they get to be first and false reports and whatnot. He's hot and bothered by it. Did you have any issue with kind of the little bit of the lecture that he went on with that and what he had to say in response?
I did take issue to it as a working member of the media, as someone that has a proven track record in this media game. I think DeMeco, and I said as much on social media, and it's not personal. DeMeco understands how I feel about him and what he's done, what they want to do, who he is as a person. I've told him all of that face to face. I absolutely applaud what he does and what he represents. But he's still human. And that was, by definition, a rant. See, some people think it's only a rant if you raise your voice. No, you listen to what he said. He called into question the working character of some very esteemed people that were directly in his presence. There are people sitting in that audience. We can go down the names. DJ Bieniemy, and there's Aaron Wilson and Will Kunkel's in there, and my man Jason Bristol and some of the folks from KHOU are in there. That's my home girl. Kim Davis is in there. So many other people, and I'm leaving out several others. Jonathan M. Alexander, the Houston Chronicle. You got some folks that have been in this media game for decades. And to allude to the fact that everybody is operating from a space that we're willing to provide misinformation just to be first, I thought was disrespectful to our art, disrespectful to us and what we want to do. Because at the end of the day, no different than what you and I do, MC, we have an obligation to the fans that trust us with their time. And we want to make sure we're entertaining, but we also want to make sure that we give you real information. So I'm sorry, D'Amico, in a Super Bowl caliber year with a franchise quarterback and a team that has been to the division round in back-to-back years that have Super Bowl aspirations this year, when your Pro Bowl top 10 running back in the league hadn't even been seen during training camp, we're allowed to ask you about it. Now, and again, I'm not going to belabor the point. I think D'Amico owes the media an apology. Whether he issues that or not is up to him and whatever the organization, Omar and the rest of the folks over there in PR choose to do. D'Amico was frustrated. I understand the frustration. He's thinking as this is a teammate, it's us. How dare y'all try and ask questions that could expose us? Coach, we have a job to do too. We don't work for you. The Texans have never, that's not fair. I have worked for the Texans, but they don't give me a check now. I'm held liable to Tegna and the Locked On family. So I'm going to ask questions in the best interest of Tegna and the Locked On family, as is the case with ESPN.com and the Houston Chronicle and even the independent outlets. So, and we've all been here. MC, you ever been talking, even in your personal life, and like you're trying to make a point, but it's getting away from you, and you really need to just stop talking?
Yeah, it's called mouth diarrhea. I hate to be so graphic, but that's what it is. I mean, that's exactly everybody's done it.
To D'Amico. This is the first time that I can recall D'Amico let it get away from him.
Yeah.
And it was a bad look. I don't think he's a bad dude. I still cheer for the brother. He's got a job to do. I got a job to do. But he was out of line here. And that's just not his character.
I only bring that phrase up because I know it so well right now because I'm getting ready to do another FAA exam, and you have to do an oral exam as part of it. And one of the first things you're taught is to just shut up, just say what the answer is and move on. Like, don't make it worse, like you're saying. And that's exactly what he did.
Continue. I'm sorry, MC, but this just dawned on me too, because there was a point in his diatribe where he says, I'm a former player. Like, Coach, we understand. You were a badass. Seth Payne, former Texan, works for the flagship station and is a member of the media. Yeah. Sean Salisbury is a longtime NFL man. He works for 790. He's a member of the media. Clint Sterner is a former NFL player. He works at 610. He's a member of the media. Now, I was an NFL prospect, but I've been an NFL scout and have worked for several NFL teams. We're allowed to act like you can't do that. I played, you didn't with everybody in town. There are a few guys around here, and this happens because and I think the Houston media has been more than fair to both Nick and D'Amico, because there are some other markets that some different questions would have been asked.
We could be honest, like it's a soft media compared to some of these other cities. It is. I've seen it. You've been in it. It's soft. There's a little bit of softness. That's okay.
Yeah, this is not. And listen, I'm not saying that just because you're a member of the media that you're right. What I'm saying is, let's not act like these are rookies that are fresh on the beat. These are people that got some skin in the game. Over here in the comments section, appreciate all of you that contribute in the comments section as well. Stan, the way you say out of line, I disagree with that. They don't like the way that I pontificate, which is okay. Look, we'll move past this. We'll get to playing football a week from Sunday, and this will be water on the bridge. However, I hope that the people that go over there, now I don't have a credential this year. It's the first time in the D'Amico Ryans era that I don't have one, and there's some.
They're getting sensitive. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, there's some things over there we're working through. But I hope the people that do go over there every day continue asking the questions that fans want to know. You're allowed to ask. You buy merch. You follow this team on social media. You buy tickets. You buy concessions. You buy parking. You are allowed to bleep and ask, where's the Pro Bowl running back and when can I expect him? That's okay. And I'm not going to allow anybody, I don't give a damn what franchise it is in town. I'm not going to allow anybody to believe that you shouldn't have that answer. And I will be one of the ones, and I'm glad others like DJ Bieniemy will be a part of asking those questions.
Yeah, I think the hardest thing, at least for me, looking at it, because we see so many teams that are transparent about it, and it doesn't do anything to hurt them. Like that's what drives me nuts. Like the teams
the
that
Rams. The Rams are telling you Matt Stafford has a back issue. We're treating it. He's on pace to be ready to go week 1. Here are some of the things we've done in terms of the cortisone shot or the epidural or whatever. Like, tell us what's good. They haven't even told us how Joe hurt it, meaning we know it was away from the facility.
Yeah.
Was it working out in a football environment?
Jumping in a pool?
Yeah, like, what's going on? Just tell us what's happening. Yeah. Sometimes you try and be so secretive that you make it a bigger deal. In life, man, sometimes you just address the elephant in the room.
What's going to end up happening is that let's just play in the world that he gets healthy and he plays. Okay, so he gets healthy and plays. He's going to go play in a game. He's going to visit with the media after the game. They're going to ask him what happened. And if you ever listen to Joe Mixon talk, I feel like he's pretty honest when he talks to people. He's probably going to tell us what happened. Like, so why hold it out? Just let us know. He's going to tell us eventually. It's stupid to me. It does that part too. That just doesn't make any sense in my world.
And look, man, I'm gonna tell you. Even listening to Caserio was asked point blank at the presser, will Joe Mixon play this season? And Caserio's response, and I'm gonna paraphrase, we'll take it day by day. The hell you talking about, man? This thing could be, and I'll be honest with you, I know we got to get ready to go. I wonder if D'Amico is frustrated, not just that the questions are being asked, but is he also frustrated at the reality that he knows he's getting ready to go to war and he doesn't have a guy that he absolutely needs out there, and he knows he can't make the excuse, but he knows he also can't give us the information. D'Amico is still learning how to do this head coach thing, and I'm with him. I support him. I want the Texans to do well, but nobody, from the ownership down to the player number 53, nobody is above reproach over there at NRG. Nobody.
Nope. You're absolutely right. I guess we could do this like a weekly check-in. Will Joe Mixon play this year? Yes or no, Stan?
Will Joe Mixon play this season?
Yeah. Yes. I think okay, so you do think he's going to play.
That's me. Maybe it's wishful thinking, but that's me. Yeah, you'll see Joe Mixon this year. And again, frankly, if Joe Mixon shows up in December and he's excellent,
that's fine.
Here we go. Yeah. I'm okay with that.
Yeah. It's a little bit like the Astros getting Jordan back right in September. Like, look, they can survive without him and they do okay, then fine. And if he gets healthy and plays down the stretch, great. It's fine with me. But man, I'm really concerned. I maybe I'm buying into the speculation, all the things. Like, I think being this non-committal and this secretive about it just gives off bad vibes. That it's way worse than we know.
I think it would just behoove the organization to be honest about where they are. See, here's the thing, and we used to talk about this when I worked in various professional sports teams. When you're on the team side, they teach you, like, you decrease the expectation as much as you can. What is it? Under promise, over deliver.
Yeah.
Right. So the Texans, I'm sorry, guys. This is what comes with success. You've done a really good job as a front office and an ownership group. Now the fan base has an expectation. You are a Super Bowl contender.
Yep.
We're going to hold you to that. We're going to hold you accountable for putting out no different than what I said on local radio, MC, about the Astros. The Astros should be in contention for the pennant every year. And when things happen that don't suggest you're in alignment with that, we as the media, speaking on behalf of the fans and asking some of the questions that fans want to know, We have a right to ask.
You're absolutely
the
right.
bar has been raised. We expect you, D'Amico, to be winning a playoff game or games, plural, and Joe Mixon can help you do that. And we want to know why we haven't seen him.
Yeah. And speaking of asking questions, we got a couple more questions to ask to wrap up the show. We'll do that here in a brief moment. Locked on Texans Squad show. First up, though, before we get there, I need to tell you guys about, well, look, NFL season's back. And honestly, there's nothing better than being in the stadium surrounded by fans cheering for your team. But let's be honest, getting tickets can be a hassle. Between queues, login screens, and prices jumping at checkout, it's frustrating. That's why I use Gametime, the app that gives you the advantage. Back to the fans, Gametime is fast, easy, and backed by the Gametime guarantee. You'll always get a 100% authentic ticket delivered on time and at the best price. Plus, all fees are included, so the price you see is the price that you pay. I pulled up on Gametime, and, in just a couple of taps, I saw amazing deals. And look, we're talking about great deals for you to get into Texans games all season long. You can also go in there and get your seat view on the Gametime app. Do that before you go and buy the tickets. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply again. Create an account and redeem that code, promo code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off. Swipe, tap, go. Download Gametime today. Final segment of our Texans squad show, and I'm not very good at being the host because I keep forgetting to hit the button to bring Stan back. But
I
it
probably do
is
need
what
to
it
pipe
is.
down for a while.
No, it's okay. We need the Stan opinions. And speaking of one, so we had just peel the curtain back for everybody. We get a lot of things we put down on paper before we do these shows, and we don't always get to all of them because we just don't have enough time. We're not going to get to all of them tonight because we got like 3 things left on this sheet in front of me. Hey, you can't bark while I'm doing the show. I want to know which one you want to go to, Stan. Sorry, the dog is out of the room now.
You all right?
Do we want to go to the CJ Stroud question? Do we want to go with the little practice squad? Or do we want to go with we had another question in there. I forgot the other question. We had another question.
You talking about the CJ, the AFC Championship game question?
Yeah. You feeling that one?
I
know that we're going to be opposite here.
I think it's a good conversation, so let's do that. We just referenced CJ in the contract a segment or so ago, so why not? The practice squad, practice squad is out. They bring back Miles Bryant, the DB, Harrison Bryant, the tight end. There's some familiar names on there. Jarrett Wayne, Jawar Jordan was brought back as a running back. Jakob Johnson, the fullback, was brought back as well. And there are rules about how often you can elevate certain guys and before you have to make a decision. And Caserio said as much. He said, look, man, the NFL roster in modern football is not just limited to the 53. Because the COVID rules that carried over and adding the 17th game have allowed general managers and head coaches more flexibility. So at the end of the day, am I still concerned about some areas? Yeah. That third cornerback, or that I should say defensive back depth, I'm still concerned. Until C.J. Gardner-Johnson is back practicing in uniform, like on the field with shoulder pads, I'm going to be a little concerned. You know, that third corner, J-Rock is having an excellent camp. You know, in his rookie season out of USC, you know, Jalen Smith over there at that corner. But Jalen Smith we hadn't seen him in the line of fire yet. So we'll see. So anyway, the practice squad, I think, is kind of self-explanatory. Yeah. The fun combo with CJ. So a question that was posed.
This question was posed on Twitter, you said, by Chancellor Johnson.
Chancellor Johnson. Congratulations, by the way. Chancellor Johnson, formerly he was with
Channel 2.
Channel 2, right. And so now he's doing his own thing, and he just signed a deal today to do some Big 12 coverage. So celebrate the homie Chancellor Johnson. And make sure you're out there following my man.
Very cool. He's very good at what he does. So happy that he's back doing something with somebody.
And he's over there at practice every day. He's in the media scrum, post-game. He's in it. He's covering the team.
He's absolutely in it, which is part of, what makes him good. And so he posed the question on Twitter or X, whatever we're calling it these days. I still call it Twitter.
I call it Twitter.
Yeah, you have to. If CJ Stroud takes the Texans to an AFC championship game this year, is he the greatest quarterback in Texans history? You just go ahead and lead us off here, Stan.
I told Chancellor via social media, I said, that's an excellent question. Excellent question. And I knew it would be good talk show and podcast fodder. The answer to the question, in my opinion, respectfully to all parties, is no. CJ Stroud taking his team to an AFC championship game. And the way he framed the question, you can go find it on his social, he just had two options, yes or no. And I replied back and put it on my social at Stan Sportsman. If I'm limited to just those two responses, then the answer is no, but I also need to see how it looks. Like, if we're going to run the ball as much this year as it sounds like Nick Caley wants to, and we're going to dink and dunk, that's a little different compared to, and listen, I know it's taboo to say this name around here, but right now, the best player in franchise history from a quarterback standpoint is still Deshaun Watson. And you go look at that 3-year run.
I was actually going to go with somebody different.
At quarterback?
I was going to go with your boy, Matt Schaub.
And Schaub, that's my guy. That's my college quarterback. I love Schaub, but he's not better than Deshaun Watson, and he's not better than C.J. Stroud.
How many division titles did Deshaun Watson win? I'm just curious. Did he win
I know he went to the 3 consecutive Pro Bowls, right? That first year, he tears the ACL after like 6 or 7 games. And then the next 3 years, he not only goes to the Pro Bowl, but do the homework for yourself and compare Deshaun's production in those 3 seasons.
He had 2 winning seasons.
It was double-digit win seasons, 2 of the 3, a Pro Bowl season, all 3, and go look at the yardage and go look at the touchdown to interception ratio in a vacuum. And he was doing that when the division was much more competitive than it is now.
54
Doesn't mean
games,
it was CJ.
54 games, 14,539 yards, 104 touchdowns, 36 picks, almost 68% completion percentage. Record was 28-25.
Well, at least 2 division titles. Was it a third?
Yeah, he won 2 division titles.
Got you.
His second and third year, they won the division titles, and of course, they went to the playoffs. And won a game. That
fourth year, he won like 4 games. They won 4 games.
Yeah, they were terrible. He led the league in passing yards that year, and they won
4,300 yards.
That's that famous clip from J.J. Watt saying, "Sorry, we wasted one of your years." I bet J.J. wished that clip didn't exist now.
Well, no, they still did in real time. They did.
Turns out that his quarterback wasn't so focused. He was more focused on getting massages on the side.
Still play a hell of a ball. If we're just talking about football right now, and going back to Chancellor's original question, if CJ just getting the team in the conference championship does not make you better than D. Watt, for me, I need to see how it looks. Now, CJ goes out there and it looks like it did that rookie year in 23. Okay, we can start to have some different conversation. I'm like, all right, that's getting it done. Now, at the end of the day, this is just off-season, talking points, right? This is what we do as the talking heads, because all that matters is winning games. And if CJ gets this team in the AFC title game, this franchise, for the first time in its history, no one's really going to give a damn. Him, Deshaun, Schaub, nobody's going to care. We're going to be trying to get to the Super Bowl, win the title game, and get in the Super Bowl. CJ's off to a fantastic start. He really is.
I think you say yes already from the standpoint of, look, I don't envision, maybe I'm crazy, maybe I should knock on some wood or something. I don't envision his career in Houston ending abruptly like Deshaun Watson's did. I envision CJ Stroud playing quarterback here for 10 plus years, probably 15 plus years.
Why does the end of how it ended, which we all know was embarrassing and ridiculous and disgusting for many, all of those things.
Yeah.
But from a football standpoint,
Oh, it doesn't change the football player. He was great.
That's
for 2
all I'm
years.
asking. Yeah, I'm just saying
he was
the
great
football
for
part.
2 years. I mean, he was unbelievable for 2 years for sure.
3
I don't know.
years?
I just always would have. I have a hard time saying he was so great in his fourth year, Deshaun Watson, because the fourth year they won 4 games and he's part of it. I know that he put up great numbers or whatever, but like,
is Joe Burrow great?
Yeah, he didn't have a team win. He never had a team win 4 games.
But they didn't make the playoff last year.
Yeah, but they still won like 9 games last year, didn't they? I believe they still had a winning record.
So what you're saying is no great quarterback, and I'm not talking about Hall of Fame great. I'm just saying like,
that year, I can't call that year like a great year. He was fine, but he was a fine quarterback on a team that went 4-8 or went 4-12.
So I'm asking, in your mind, I'm learning about how MC views football. You can't be a great player in a singular season unless the team success matches your performance?
No, I think it affects how I view your season overall. He had great statistics. I don't necessarily think that you can say, oh, he was an elite player, because if you're a great elite quarterback, like, okay, you mentioned the Burrow thing. Burrow was unbelievable last year and put up unbelievable numbers. They went 9-8. Like, is that a good year for them? No, absolutely not. But I'd rather have my quarterback do that than go out and put up all these numbers on a team that goes 4-12. It felt like stat padding. That's what that year to me felt like.
Okay, I love this conversation. I am not a when he's healthy and he's right, Dak Prescott is about at the same level as CJ Stroud. They're knocking on the door of top 10 quarterback. Some have them 10-9-8. Some might have them 9-10-11. They're hovering in around the same space, right? Year before last, 2023, Cowboys didn't do a damn thing for real, right? That's the Green Bay came in there in the postseason and blew their doors on, right?
Yeah.
Dak Prescott finished second in the MVP voting.
That's wild.
No one believes that Dak Prescott is the second best quarterback in the league that year, other than the people that voted for him. So it's just like, that's why you got to understand. And somebody said it over here. I know that the comments are rolling through. Somebody said like overall team record is not.
Oh yeah, no, I don't think it's the quarterback stat necessarily. I think it determines on how I evaluate how good of a season that was. Am I saying it was a bad season when you lead the league in passing yards? No, absolutely not. He had a high completion percentage. He did great things, but I think to be a great quarterback, the greats of the greats don't win 4 games in a year. You know that. I know that. Like that's silly work. Like unless you're a rookie, like
I was
the
gonna say,
elite of the elite. The elite of the elite, when they're 4 years into their career, you don't go all of a sudden from a 10-5, 11. And there's other circumstances the Texans there. I get it.
Always.
But like even like I just bring it back to the Burrow one that you brought up. Like last year, you know, he had one of the most atrocious defense ever, and he still dragged that team to 9 wins with his elite playmakers that he does have around him as well. That makes his job easier. There's no denying that. But like and to me, like if Deshaun was like elite that year, okay, you're dragging that team to more than 4 wins. I guess that's where I'm trying to get to here.
But it to me, it doesn't change the question. The question
he's not my best quarterback in franchise history still. I would still take
you have Schaub over Watson. Yeah. I don't. Some people might. I don't. And I love Schaub.
And he had his deficiencies.
It's hard for me to put CJ ahead of D. Watt right now. I need to see how this season looks. If CJ looks this year like he looked last year, which was a regression for several different reasons, but his overall production regressed. There's nothing wrong with saying that. I still love the kid. I still think the kid is a franchise quarterback and will have this franchise in an AFC title game. But that 3-year stretch, that second, third, and fourth year of Deshaun Watson in Houston in a vacuum, just as the quarterback play, was outstanding. We'll see. CJ has his chance now.
We will see. And I will say again, yes, if he gets them to an AFC championship game, greatest player, or not greatest player yet. He's got a long way to go to be
greatest
quarterback in franchise history.
It's a fascinating conversation. I love the combo.
Yeah, nobody else has done it. So, you know, somebody's got to be the first. Might as well be him. Well, I guess we could check back in on that one at the end of the year.
See, then you got guys like Blake Bortles that have played in title games. It's like,
oh God, That dude, they were half away from being in the Super Bowl.
They were leading in the fourth quarter. They were up double digits in the fourth quarter versus the Patriots, and they lost. Yeah,
freaking Jacksonville Jack with their two-tone helmets. You remember those two-tone helmets? Those things were atrocious.
Really? I thought they had a little.
Oh no! Don't tell me you like the two-tone helmet,
a little
black
thing.
and gold. Oh no, Stan! No.
It was like a matte, and then it faded into the gold.
It was so bad.
Oh my God! But we'll see. Like I really do, man. I'm cheering for CJ in the sense that I just want him to go play his best ball.
Yeah,
I want to go play his best ball, and they believe. It sounds like he believes Nick Caley is positioned to help them do that, and we'll go see. We'll go see.
MVP season coming up.
Could very well be. I have not seen his odds. I think he would be a little far down the list there on those odds, but I don't know that CJ is going to have the overall yardage to compete for something like the MVP.
Yeah.
Now, last year, Jalen Hurts didn't have it in the regular season, but he got in the postseason and he got a Super Bowl MVP.
Oh. That's all that matters, right? Lamar's got all those regular season MVPs, and what's it gotten him? 0 rings.
Doesn't have a ring yet.
No rings. By the way, real quick, I was looking at it.
Great player,
CJ Stroud, great player. I love Lamar Jackson. CJ Stroud plus 2,500 for the MVP.
How many quarterbacks ahead of him? I don't know if you can see.
6, 7, 8 ahead of him. Lamar, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, Jaden Daniels, Jordan Love, Justin Herbert, Jalen Hurts, and then CJ. Who has the same as Baker Mayfield.
People are going to say, what is Herbert doing ahead of him?
I agree with that 1,000%. I am officially.
And people are probably going to say.
I'm on the Herbert hater train. Completely overrated.
In the football community,
Texans ate his lunch and made him look like a child out there.
Everybody's going to have a bad day. Everybody. Every great NFL quarterback has had an awful day, including Patty Mahomes.
He's got divisional round of the playoffs eliminated written all over him every year of his career.
In the personnel community in the National Football League, Herbert is very highly thought of. Very.
I know that. Yeah.
Yeah, they like that a lot.
Tall white guy, of course he is.
Let's see. Where you want to go?
I was thinking, you got any I know this is our last weekend without football. You got to keep I know we're both college football connoisseurs.
For sure.
First of all, I guess I'll count as my parting shot right here. I will be tuned in tomorrow morning for the game day to see the final
Lee Corso farewell.
Which, by the way, if anybody has not seen it, they're also going to simulcast his last headgear selection on Fox. Fox is picking it up for their show. They came to agree with that. Yeah, very much. This guy and that. You think about all the. We do that in sports. I know that you've done it, Stan. You think about all the studio shows that mean so much. We're seeing the Inside the NBA switch over to ESPN this year, even though they're still producing it. They're out of Atlanta with Turner. But between like that show and really, College Game Day, it's just. I've always loved it. I've always grown up and watched it Saturday mornings ever since I was a kid, and I will definitely be tuning in. And thank you for a great career from Lee Corso. He's brought a lot of entertainment to people.
College football, and this is regardless of what sport it is or what classification, what industry. We start getting all these lifetime achievement awards, and where does this person rank in their lore, in their respective segments and contributions to society? Can we write the history of this entity and leave you out? Nope. What Lee Corso has done, and there's an article on ESPN.com about Lee Corso as a player, as a coach. Do you know Lee Corso had more interceptions than anybody else in Florida State history at the time until Deion Sanders showed up?
Had no idea.
Crazy. So there's a whole article going into like Lee Corso, the coach, the player, and then what he's done for college football in that platform of ESPN. College football, and I'm someone that, again, played Power 5 football with Matt Schaub at the University of Virginia. We were a top 25 program at the time. We are still like one of 5 schools of the former Power 5 that have never been on game day, or game day has never been on our campus. Nonetheless, what Corso has done and being a part of that game day team elevated college football as a brand. I put him for a very different reason because they got different roles. I put Lee Corso up there with Keith Jackson and some of those college football greats and what they did to the game. So Lee Corso will be missed, but, man, it's time. And that actually takes me back to Jerry.
It had been time for a while, but and they lessened his role so much on that show over the years.
For sure. I mean, Kirk Herbstreit, and I'm just to keep it a buck, Kirk Herbstreit is literally holding Lee Corso up. And, like, at some point, it just becomes uncomfortable. And we've all been there. And this is a perfect, how we're going to book in these comments. We open with Jerry and what the hell happened. I'm here in downtown Dallas right now. Jerry and what the hell happened with Micah Parsons yesterday. My high school coach called me, big Cowboys fan, but he has gotten off the bandwagon, so to speak. It's been gut punch after gut punch after gut punch, and he just can't stomach it anymore. My point is, he asked me what I thought about the Michael Parsons scenario with Jerry, that saga. And I'll end my parting shot by saying this. I'm the son of a baby boomer, and our parents are getting older. And we all have been there or will be there where we have to tell the people we love, hey, man, give me those car keys, Mom. You just can't operate the vehicle anymore. Now, thankfully, Mama Fleet is not there. But for Jerry, for Lee Corso, and some of the other greats, at some time, it's just time. And I think Jerry's what, 82? How old is Corso?
I think he's 80. Corso's got to be older than that.
Yeah, Corso is definitely well into his 80s. It's just time. So I'll be there with you, supporting it.
Corso's 90. He's 90.
It's just time.
Yeah. That's
and
impressive.
God bless. I hope I'm able to do 90 years and contribute a small part of what Lee Corso has done for the game of college football.
One day we'll be willing you off this show, Stan.
Yeah. Let's hope that takes a while. I like this direct deposit thing.
Yeah, me too. I'm good with that. All right, well, it's been another week of the Texan Squad Show. We'll be back with you Tuesday. This
game week.
Game week. John Hickman will be here with us as well. We'll get you ready for Texans and Rams, a full go, and then we'll be with you after the game next week as well, back to the post-game slots when they wrap up for that. We hope you guys have a great rest of your Friday night. Enjoy the college football on Saturday. Enjoy the weekend. We'll talk to y'all Tuesday.
Be safe.
Locked on Texan Squad.